Democracy thrives on transparency. That's why we document Irish political voices as they are, complete, unedited, and accessible to all. Subscribe to join us in strengthening public discourse.
Deputies, if you can't allow anyone to ask or answer a question, this is where we end up. Deputy Paul Murphy.
Thanks, Count Corley. This is an incredible brazen display by the Taoiseach. It really is. 3 times now, you've been asked effectively the same question. I'm going to ask it again. It's not clear to me if you don't understand your own government's proposal, you are misleading the House about your own government's proposal, or the press statement issued by Minister Brown's department is inaccurate. You need to clarify for us which it is. Because I quote you not just once or twice, but about 5 or 6 times now, you have said existing tenants will be capped at 2%, new tenancies will be capped at CPI, and this is the strongest set of rent protection measures we've ever had. The truth is, if the press statement is accurate, is you are gutting, you are absolutely gutting the rent pressure zones. So you get your nice headlines saying that the rent pressure zones to be extended to the whole country and significant expansion of tenants' rights, when in reality you are getting rid of the rent pressure zones. I will read it for the 3rd time today, very slowly for you. All landlords will have the right to reset rent where the rent is below market at the end of each 6-year tenancy. Not just new landlords, not just big landlords, not just small landlords, every single landlord. Which means existing tenants, new tenants, yes please, if the Minister could inform the Taoiseach what's going on here, what's in the policy, that'd be very, very helpful. But it's what it says in the press statement. It is what it says in the press statement, all landlords. So what you're saying to existing, new tenants, all of them, is they get the limited protection of the 2%, or CPI if it's new, for 6 years. After 6 years, at 6 years, it's a free-for-all. They get to reset to market rate. So you have 2% increase, 2% increase, 2% increase, 2%, 2%, and then 40%, 30%. An unimaginable level that is simply not affordable. That's what the press statement, that is. I'll read it again. Okay, it does say that. I mean, as part of this master of the spin, it also says tenancies of unlimited duration to be enhanced by introduction of rolling 6-year tenancies. That's some enhancement, Taoiseach. You're getting rid of tenancies of unlimited duration and going back to the old system of rolling 6-year tenancies. It's Orwellian, really, what you are presenting. The logic of this, the government, is you want rents to rise. It's not enough that they have doubled over the past year. It's not enough that over the last 10 years. It's not enough that 1/3 of tenants are now paying more than 50% of their net income on rent. It's not enough that more and more landlords are actually coming into the market. No, you want rents to go up even faster. That is why tenants, renters, people who are trying to buy a house, people who are locked out, who are going to be locked out even further, are going to be on the streets next Tuesday, 6 p.m. in front of the Dáil as part of a major raise the roof mobilisation to stop this government and its landlord agenda.
But you announced that March before the proposal was even announced. So that sums it up. That sums it up. You just change the narrative every time it suits you. And the bottom line is this. No, I'd say to you, if you're an existing tenant, there will be no change. Simple as that. There will be no change if you're an existing tenant.
Please allow the answer.
There's no reset at 6 years for an existing tenant.
Please, you ask for clarity. Deputies, please. Deputy Murphy.
In terms of new tenancies, new bills and new apartments that will come on stream, hopefully, because this is about supply, Deputy. With the greatest respect in the world, if we'd adopted half of what you proposed, we'd have no supply at all in the market. That's the fundamental difference. We do need more apartments, we do need more houses, and we need more rent into the rental market. And yes, in many instances right now, when the RPZs originally came in, many people are still well below market rates. And if a tenant exits voluntarily and leaves, the tenancy can then reset to market rate. That's okay. In my view, that's reasonable. If many people who went, when RPZs came in first, many people didn't increase their rents. Quite a number didn't. And I think in order to keep the momentum within the market and to keep people in the market, I think that's a balanced response to the current situation. And we do want to bring more investment in to build. So you have capped at 2%. The second cap is CPI, right? So basically, there's a cap of whatever the inflation rate is. The inflation rate is forecast to be 2% on average for the next number of years. It's also the focus of the ECB to keep inflation at 2%. Now, if you don't tie it to CPI, say we freeze it as you are saying, well, why would anyone invest in any new apartment block? Why would anyone build a new house or a new rent or a new apartment for rent if effectively you would begin to lose money within a couple of years? So no one's going to make an investment decision on that basis. And that is what you're proposing, that we have a rent freeze for 3 years or longer. So no one's going to invest in a market where essentially you invest knowing you're going to be losing money fairly quickly. So the package is about getting a balance to incentivize investment into the rental market whilst protecting existing tenants who will not see an increase in their rent. No matter how much you shout that, they will not have an increase in their rent above the 2%, which is part of the RPZ and has been for quite a number of years. And that is the position. And I think these are balanced measures. No doubt you thought you'd be fighting a different set of proposals. You announced ages ago we were getting rid of the RPZ. We're not getting rid of the RPZ. We're extending it, making it national and giving stronger protections than tenants had before this package was announced and would be legislated for.
Deputy Murphy.
It's not me suggesting it. It's not. It's your own press statement saying that the right to reset. But it's not just in a written press statement. It's also Minister Brown told the media. I'll quote from him at the press conference earlier. He says, what happens is at the end of the 6 years is that the rate setting piece so that effectively the rent could be put back to the market in line with what the press statement says. So which is it? So new tenancies are going to be every 6 years. Every 6 years. But it's not what you said, and it's not what your
Taoiseach, please, you will have an opportunity.
No, deliberately. You're the one.
Deputy
you have the. You have Taoiseach. You have the press statement.
Deputy
but
let's
deal. You defend the idea that if tenants leave due to it's not a no-fault eviction. They leave mid 6 years, that it can be reset. Yeah, you're saying you are in favour of that. You're saying that's not a mistake. That tenants, anytime a tenant leaves, the rent can be reset. That is a recipe for rocketing rents. How high do you want rents to go? It is also. Let me finish this point. It is also a recipe for constructive evictions, where the landlord says, "I'm not going to fix your heating. I'm not going to fix your toilet. I'm going to force you out."
Deputy Murphy, your time is up. Taoiseach to respond.
Voting on this.
Deputy, resume your seat. The Taoiseach, I'm not going to allow you to continue to speak. Your time is up. Taoiseach, respond.
It's interesting in the exchange you acknowledge it's new tenancies. Okay, I've been saying since I came in that existing tenants would not have their rents increased beyond 2% as per the RPZ. Now, hold on, please. Look, you're all interrupting because you don't like the facts here. The bottom line, in respect of new tenancies, yes. In respect of tenancies where the tenant has left, so the tenant doesn't get, exorbitant increases. Basically, the balance here is we need more investment into the market, Deputy. I know you don't really believe in that. I think you believe a state in its entirety. That's the fundamental difference. I would argue, if we were to take your policies, we'd have no new supply at all. That is a fundamental difference. I acknowledge that. You don't believe in a market-based economy. That is your position. I happen to believe in a balanced economic framework whereby you do have public sector investment, and we have unprecedented levels of state investment, but you will need private sector investment to get the level of investment we require.
Thank you,
because I don't
Taoiseach.
think sustainably the state can spend 20 billion per annum on housing
your time is up,
alone.
Taoiseach.
That will not suffice. I don't think the people want that
In
sort of
accordance
approach
with Standing
either.
Order 35.
In a democracy, information is power. By subscribing to our channel, you become part of a community that believes in open access to political speech, unedited, direct, and authentic. Join us as we document Ireland's political journey, not just through headlines, but through real voices and real stories. Stay informed. Stay connected.